blah, blah. Tell me more.
So, I observed that people, especially couples, were just getting exposed to the entertainment going on their smartphone instead of talking to each other. And that really upset me. It's like, there was a day in your life when you thought this person was the most interesting person in the world. And hopefully that's the reason you dated and not just because of looks. And now you're sitting there having absolutely nothing to talk about while you're in this paradise island, like sharing a vacation together. And so I observed that. And then I did study communication in my master's and actually needed a theme for my final master thesis. And I didn't know there was a word for it, but turned out this effect is called phubbing, phone snubbing. So basically ignoring the presence of the offline person because you're so engaged with your phone. And then I researched that effect and just analyzed all the psychological reasons why people are doing it, how it affects like intimacy, bonding, quality of relationships. And I really found out how detrimental it is to like our human connections and how basically touch screens make us lose touch because we're so busy keeping up to date with people's online life, and we have like FOMO in the online world that we basically miss out on the offline world. Like we barely look up from our screens, we barely like make a human connection, make someone a genuine compliment. But on social media, we're great at like spreading lights to people we've never talked to, like sliding into people's DMs and
hashtag relationships, hashtag love,
couple
hashtag
goals and all of that. But like couple goals only exist for the picture, and once the picture
sitting
is
lonely
done,
in your room, couple goals.
yeah, no fun. You're scrolling through your screen together, but that's not romantic. So then I actually handed in my thesis. I passed, and I went backpacking in. Thank you.
Blah, blah, blah.
renarspodcast.
I went backpacking in Nicaragua, and ironically, my phone got stolen on my third day. So I had to take my theory into practice and did the whole trip offline. And I have to say, it was like one of the best things that could have happened to me was losing my phone, because I actually finally depended on people instead of technology. I was talking to like strangers in the bus, like walking into hostels, just asking if they're free instead of booking something on booking.com or check reviews, and talk to people in the lobby instead of just connecting to Wi-Fi and sending pictures to, which is also important to family and friends, but I just felt I was much more present, and I really enjoyed it. So I came back home and I was like, maybe my thesis is way too important to be drawn in dust on my bookshelf, and just to have the only purpose is getting me my master's degree. And the second thing I observed while I was traveling is that there's so many interesting people who did like so many cool things in their lives. But mostly we just end up having small talk because it's, like where you're from, how long I've been traveling. And I was at one point, it just gets a bit tiring and boring, and you just want to put like a sticker on your forehead being like, hi, my name is Nini, I've been traveling since whatever.
Like a t-shirt or something, it's like a little sign when the child is lost, like this is mother's phone number kind of thing. This is where you return it back. But this is like the things what you're talking about, like I'm keep nodding because that is just huge. And I remember last year, it wasn't like maybe 2 years ago, I was hanging out with my very good friend. He's a stuntman from Australia. So both of us, we had dinner in this nice Italian restaurant. And I could not believe that there's this family, mom and dad and 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Everyone on their phones.
So sad.
Everyone. And then at some point, like I think father was like kind of trying to start conversation or something. And the girls were just like, I had this like bitch face, like kind of like, I'm like busy.
Don't interrupt my scrolling.
Like and I said to Mike, like, look at this.
Yeah.
But in the same time, what I think, anything is good in moderation. Like, and I think social media has so many good things about it. Our phones are amazing things. Like, anything what we can get from it's fantastic. But it's about figuring out that, being moderate with it. Like, okay, so I need to find this. I need to connect with some people. And when someone says like, yeah, social media is evil, it's like, I think at the same time social media can be amazing, but that what you got on there and you started master thesis and you thought about this concept, and then how often, like I've done my master's and done my also my bachelor degree, and I was like, my bachelor's was about quality management, and master's I don't even remember about it anymore, and you, instead of just, as you said, just put in a shelf like and gets covered with dust, you created something amazing. So that is just fantastic.
Thank you. Like quickly on what you just said, I agree. Like I don't praise to live a life off the grid and go back to your Nokia 3310 days. I do think there's a lot of relevance and importance in social media, in our phones, but I always put it as kind of like junk food and superfood. So if you just consume and like just scrolling and compare your life to other people's life, and it's putting you down, and but it's not really creating anything, then it's like it's not adding any value to your life. But if you use it as like superfood in terms of staying connected with people who live across the world, and by sharing a story, they kind of know what's going on in your life, and you feel more connected. You can FaceTime, you can meditate with your phone, you can track your run and Runtastic, put a soundtrack to your life by listening to Spotify. I consider all of that as like superfood, but it's all like in balance, and there's a time and a place for your phone, but it's not when you're like having a 1 hour catch up with a friend.
Yeah, 100%. And then also, I remember last year, 2 years ago, I was in Vietnam, and I met this girl, really cute girl, and she was like this super influencer, right? Yeah. And I was trying to hang out with her, but every 5 minutes she would do the story. Yeah. Like, I need to do a story about this. I need to do a story about this. So this is the story. Yeah. It's like, what, like...
Snap it or it didn't happen.
Like, if we eventually end up making out and having sex or whatever, are you going to have a story? Like, otherwise no one is going to believe it. It's insane. And it felt sad. It felt like someone has this nasty virus and they can't get rid of it. It's like the Aliens, the film where that thing just falls in your face and then afterwards gets in and like laid eggs and this thing shoots out. And you can't get rid of it. It feels like that. Yeah. And actually someone posted a photo, and I'm going to show it in this magic later. And then there's a iPhone on your face, and the things around are like from the Alien film.
Wow.
And it just like sticks to it. Yeah. And doesn't allow you to take it off.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. It's like we live our life through our phones, and it's crazy.
And it's interesting how also like with people like who do become very addictive, who do get influenced in kind of a shitty way, but how do you figure out who's going to go that path or this path? And it's just like with all the shitty foods, with all the drugs, and if you smoke weed once in a while, I think it's fine, just to chill. If you smoke weed every night, maybe not that good. And that's the same thing with everything.
Blah blah blah. Tell me more.